Well, there you go. Arne Slot in detail prior to the game against Bournemouth, and it's a quick turnaround for the Reds. If you're just tuning into some of the things that were spoken about by the boss, he is very confident of finishing in the top four, expecting to play against one of the most intense teams in the league tomorrow. Speaks a lot about running stats again. That was referenced again today, that the players might have changed, but still the same idea where they are concerned. And no new injury worries, although Federico Chiesa is a 50-50 at the moment as well. Still are to train Liverpool in the next couple of hours. So we'll wait and see on that. You always enjoy hearing from the boss. Sammy, what was your overall impression of that one today?
Positivity. Loved what he say, and the mere fact that he's saying he's looking about the future. You're not just talking about the day after Bournemouth, he's talking about the future as in weeks and seasons after. So very positive, and I like what I heard from him. And as you say, I like when he spoke about the new signings, about it takes them a while to integrate and get better. To talk about the age of them and getting better towards the second half of the season, and I think that's proven to be the case. And I must give a big shout out to my good friend Jimmy McGovern, who's on my mate Colin's table, and we have a great discussion with Ricky Tomo and Zach about who should be playing, who shouldn't be playing. And Jimmy has always championed Kirkers. Always, he said he will be the player that we bought him for, you know what I mean? And there's been a bit of discussion on that, but I think to that point, you look at the improvements in him, how he's getting better, he's becoming more in tune with the demands, not only of the Champions League, but also of the Premier League. So, yeah, it's nice to hear him saying that these guys, the new signs, are integrating, and the start is to get better towards the second half of the season, which we're coming into now. And I just think that a lot of positivity came from that, even in terms of availability. And he says, obviously, until they do the training session, he doesn't envisage any injuries from it, which is great, because for me that's so important. We mentioned Joe Gomez before, because in certain areas, in certain positions, we are a little bit light through injuries and what have you. But I think we've got Ramsey coming back, which could be another cover for us. Which again frees up another space for somebody else to go further up the park, if you like. But I was just so pleased in the positivity that came out of what was a very, very positive performance and result against Marseille.
We almost saw the use of wide forwards, didn't we, the other night, and those flying fullbacks that Liverpool have. Is that a bit of an insight into his identity, how he wants in this long term for Liverpool to play? You spoke about Kirkes there, Frimpong on the other side.
Yeah, I think so, very much. And I think you mentioned that. I think I think, as I said to you, we mentioned about a difficult watch. But we're fourth. We're doing so well in the Champions League, we're still in the FA Cup. And I repeat, it's about the next game, not about what's gone on in the past. And I think he emphasised that to me. And you see these forwards, these forward-thinking fullbacks of ours, which are going forward. Frimpong could have easily gone down. I guarantee you 99% of players in other teams in that position would have gone down a couple of occasions. He stayed on his feet, got some great balls. And we always talk about his final ball. Well, the other day, his final ball was excellent. That resulted in a goal for us, albeit it was an assist from him, and that's all you want from him, And I think we're seeing this identity of Arnie's come to fruition now at such an important time of the season, and that's why I keep on saying, a lot of positivity.
Yeah. He spoke about the fine lines and that fine line between, and I know what you're going to say, when you're a player you just wanted to play again, but sometimes it's about protecting them from themselves. He spoke about Frimpong having injuries, played the last four. At some point they're going to have to drag them back and say, this is one you're going to have to sit out today.
Very much so, Peter, and he alluded to that, but it's about options. In certain areas, as you mentioned there before, in certain positions we are a little bit light, but for me, I'm quite conservative. I always like to keep the same team, even to start with the same team, and what will be after that, But again, I'm fully aware of sports science. I was always in contact with sports science to make sure, at the end of the day, the main thing is the health and fitness of the players. We can't put them through things where they're going to break down, whatever. Sometimes it's out of necessity, but at this moment in time, what I liked about him is the fact that he thinks that everybody is in a good place. Those who are available to him are in a good place. It's up to Arnie now to pick the starting line, which I'm sure hopefully will be more than enough to go and beat a very intense Bournemouth side. And you mentioned it before, the intensity of them high with top four in intensity of running. So that means they put pressure on you all the time. So, and particularly the Vitality Stadium, as we said before. But I think the good thing for me is that he maintained the fact that hopefully they're all available for us for the game tomorrow.
Another person you've got to get out of bed very early to kid is Arne Slot. He was even surprised by the choice of the first question today, that it wasn't about Mo Salah, it was about Dominic Szoboszlai. There are different kinds of leaders, and we've heard him champion quite a lot in the last couple of days as to this could be a potential captain of Liverpool. He's saying he's one of them that leads by example, captains his country, but he feels he's really improved this year on the ball, aside from the energy that is so obvious about his game.
Well, he's on the ball and off the ball. You know, I think, listen, he's had a bit of a difficult month, you know what I mean, as much as that he's been involved in a couple of instances where he missed a penalty, which, as honestly, anyone can do that. We've all missed penalties. You know, the back heel against Barnsley, you know, which was termed as a lack of respect for the opposition. He's recovered from that, hopefully, because he's been one of our better players this season. It was disappointing that, but you know, you look at the positivity from I keep on using that word, his performance the other day, not only in his fantastic free kick, which again, you know, all credit to the scouting, you know, and he mentioned one of his coaches, because they've obviously looked at Marseille and they don't have a draft excluded, they don't have anybody lying on the floor, so he exposed that and exploited that. And listen, he's been one of our better players this year, but I repeat, he's had a difficult month, but it's how you come through them difficulties, and in any player's life you always go through difficult periods. Hopefully he's come out of that, because it was a terrific performance against Marseille, and now take it into these next 16 games, not only in the league and then in both cup competitions, FA Cup and Champions League.
Mo Salah, they did get to that eventually. You'll have noticed, I'm sure, last night that he was in the gym at 9:30 last night. So they had a recovery session when they arrived back from Marseille. He's straight home. He's straight into the gym. There's no days off for this lad. In particular, Sam, and give us the insight here from a player's perspective. Strikers are different, aren't they? Sometimes they have a feeling about an opposition, and his record against Bournemouth is incredible. He will want to be in that 11.
Very much so, I think. But again, as Arne alluded to, his record against most teams is phenomenal, to be honest, and he'll want to play every game, and he's just come back from the African nations, you know, and I've got to be honest, you know, he left, I mean, obviously there's a lot of talk, a lot of speculation before he left. He's obviously gone through that competition, he's come home now, and I think he'll want to prove to everybody that he is still the king, you know, and not more so than he wants to play every game. Arne alludes that most players do, but certainly he does. And I think that the performance he put in the other day, I was surprised when he started the other day, I'll be perfectly honest with you, but when he started and when he played and how he played, I'm thinking, go again tomorrow.
Got that momentum, hasn't he?
Yes.
He is ready, according to Arne Slot. Now, before Mo Stewart rejoins us, let's just remind you of what happened in this corresponding game last season.
With each week that passes, the magnitude grows. No sterner test than this, though, on the South Coast. Clivert picks it up. Needed the big save from Alisson Becker. Semenyo, good feet from him. Shot in against the woodwork. Gakpo in some space. And Kepa was off his line. Was he felled unfairly? Yes, he was. Salah against Kepa. Mo Salah again. Tavernier straight into the action. From distance. Against the post. Clivert somehow can't finish it off. Finds Salah. Salah again. And Liverpool, inevitability, that strikes for a second time. Semenyo again. What a save from Alisson, from his own player.